Hello everybody, I'm finally back. I'm back after a big break. Happy holidays. I hope that you're all enjoying a little bit of a break no matter where you are in the world and staying safe. I know that it's, crazy times at the moment, and this year in general has just been absolutely wild in terms of obviously the coronavirus and all sorts of other things happening in the world. I know that this year for me has been the busiest I think I've ever had, which is part of the reason that I just took a big break from YouTube. I found myself in one of those situations where I was just doing too much and I was certainly feeling a little bit burnt out. I needed to sort of take something off the schedule for a little bit of time there, and unfortunately it was my YouTube videos, just because some of the other things I had going on I couldn't push to the side anymore. So I sort of spent the last few months really focusing on life admin and getting ahead of where I needed to be, getting ready for the start of 2022, which is crazy. It's next week. It just feels like this year has absolutely flown by. But some of the things that I've been doing have been really exciting. I just got myself an amazing new job, which I'll be starting in a couple of weeks' time. I'm just on a holiday at the moment, sort of in between my previous job and my new job. So I'm going to be stacking up my holiday break, getting lots of videos and lots of tutorials and speed builds ready for you guys to enjoy. And we're going to start today with the one that you're already watching right now, which is a modern sort of Japanese family home. I would call it a mansion, except it doesn't have a pool, so I don't think it really qualifies as a mansion, but it's still a very big, beautiful, modern home. It's based in Mount Coriombe, I can't ever pronounce it. The town with Snowy Escape. I'm so sorry if I butchered the pronunciation, but it is in Snowy Escape and it's Japanese in style. It is really sort of white and black tones, and as I mentioned, quite minimal and modern as well, so a little bit different than the traditional houses that you see in this town. But I had a lot of fun with this. I sort of wanted to ease back into speed builds because they don't take as much time and sort of energy as the tutorials that I do take. And I just wanted to be able to sort of slowly ease my way back into the videos. As I mentioned, I've had that big break, so it was actually really fun to get in there and just build and not really worry so much about having to talk through the steps and really sort of think ahead of time. When I do the tutorials, I have to build them first and then re-record them all, sort of building them step by step with instructions for you guys, which I've absolutely got more of those tutorials coming out very soon, but I just wanted to sort of ease my way into it, as I mentioned. So this was a really nice way to do that. It was pretty quick and easy. I didn't actually plan this build out before I started. I just kind of went for it, which was nice. And I haven't done a Japanese style build in, quite some time, in maybe a year or so. So it was definitely nice to branch out of what I, usually have been doing lately. I've been doing a lot of community lots. I know that people are really vibing those, so I'll certainly bring some more of those back as well. But pop it in the comments if you'd like to see anything in particular now that I'm back. And I also want to take this moment to really thank all of the really beautiful people who messaged me either on Discord or here on YouTube just to find out where I've been and what I've been doing and asking me to come back and make some more videos. I really appreciate you guys doing that and reaching out. It makes me feel very special. So I see you, I appreciate you, and if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't have made the return right now, just because things are still quite busy, but I felt that I needed to get back on here and start making more content for you guys. So I'm really excited. There's a lot of sort of little kits and stuff packs that have come out in my absence. The one I'm most excited to use is the new Blooming Rooms kit. So I'm going to download that today, and I've actually got a plan to do another tutorial for you guys that's going to be an A-frame house, sort of like an artist's studio A-frame house, cottage style, but nice and modern. And I'm going to use a lot of those plants, I think, in that kit. And I noticed that there's been a lot of sort of content upgrades and base game content upgrades to The Sims, which has been awesome to see. I'd love to know what your guys' thoughts are around that and around The Sims and EA team sort of coming back in and trying to fix some of the content that they've previously brought out. Whether or not they've been very successful, I've read very mixed reviews over on Reddit and online, so I'd love to know what each of you guys think just in the comments below. But anyway, we can sort of talk about the build now. I'm just waffling on. But as you can see, again, really modern, lots of square shapes. This was really straight out of my head. I didn't plan it. I usually sort of do a bit of a floor plan before I start, but this time I just kind of went for gold, and I sort of found myself in a bit of a meditative state with it and just worked through, built straight through from beginning to end. I think this build took me 2.5 hours, I want to say, including furnishing, but the building part itself was actually really easy. It's got this cool little glass atrium in the center that you can see from the bathroom and from the bedrooms. There are 2 bedrooms in this house and there are 3 bathrooms. So whether or not you want to use this as sort of the holiday location that your Sims go and visit when they go to Mount Corriombi and do some skiing or snowboarding or rock climbing or whatever, or whether or not you actually want to live in this neighborhood and use it for your home base, for your family home, it works really well for either option. And also you could even just pick this build up and just put it in any neighborhood that you like. It doesn't have to stay here, but it is sort of more Asian influenced and Japanese influenced in style, which is the reason I've popped it in this neighborhood. So let me know what you think. I also really feel like I just need to start embracing and exploring new styles. I feel that I've been doing the same sort of modern minimal thing for a while. I think that one of the really, the types of builds that I struggle with are things like cottages and old school builds. I don't know the genre, I'm not really doing it justice here explaining it, but I feel like that's certainly something I want to look into as I continue sort of creating more builds for you guys. I just want to have the opportunity to explore as many styles as I can and to get as much content out as I can as well. The new job that I'm starting in the new year is a creative job. I'm going to be an art director for illustration, so I'm going to get to do a lot more illustration work, and I feel like that's going to be a really good thing because I'll be able to have the creative juices pumping all the time, and I feel when I'm doing heaps of creative work that it motivates me to sort of do even more creative personal projects. So I'm really excited because I'm able to do all of the illustration and the creative stuff I need to do at work, and then come home and I'm going to be able to work on the Sims and other things without feeling like I'm doing too much computer time or too much illustration or whatever. I don't know if that makes sense, but you know how sometimes if you're doing the same thing all the time, in my case being on the computer all the time, staring at a screen all day long, it can be quite exhausting, and I think that that's part of the reason that I needed to take a little bit of a break. I was on my computer for sort of 14 to 16 hours a day, every day, especially when I was doing this editing, so trying to find balance I think is the most important thing. And sort of on that note, I wonder what New Year's resolutions you guys have. I don't really believe in New Year's resolutions, but I do like to sort of set intentions for the year. So rather than a goal that's like go to the gym more or whatever, as a New Year's resolution, that might sort of sound like, make healthy choices, exercise regularly, make my body feel, happy and fulfilled, I think is sort of my intention for the year ahead. I just want to have a real emphasis this year on self-care and really looking after myself. It's been a crazy year, and I think that having the hindsight and the reflection of needing to look after yourself and wanting to look after yourself and make time for yourself and the things that you love to do is just really important. So that's my intention for the year ahead. Let me know what some of yours are. Anyway, back to the build now and sort of what you're seeing. You can see that I've just finished out almost the whole bottom floor. Really modern vibe, lots of dark tones, which I'm continuing through into the bathroom. So I'm going with a really modern sort of concrete look. This whole house is really modern, but I feel like it has touches of, like textures that are a bit more natural, things like stones and travertine and what have you. Like there's a lot of stone wallpapers and tiled wallpapers that I'm using that I think helps to make it feel a lot less cold. I'm using a lot of green, like olive green inside, and lots of slate and dark woods, which I think looks really nice. So it made sense with the bathrooms to have them be nice and dark as well. And you can see me here just building out a bit of a feature wall for the television in the upstairs living room. There isn't a living room downstairs just because there wasn't sort of the best room with the layout. There's a place where you can read your book and play chess outside. But in terms of TV and watching television, this is the only room that you can do that in. But I think for a 2-bedroom house, you only really need one living room anyway. So I've got a nice little feature wall there with nice timber slatting as a bit of a feature. And then I'm also just putting in a nice 3-seater couch. And what I do is I use the back of this couch to create a bit of a custom desk, which I go into a bit more detail of how to do the desk situation in some tutorials that I do. You can find those on the rest of my channel. But I think that wherever you can make use of the Sims objects and sort of transform them into something new is something that's absolutely worth doing. You end up with a lot more freedom in the game. So you can see me doing this here now. You choose a normal desk, put the computer on and the chair, and then I shrink it down really small. I use those brown sort of pieces of marble to cover up the little tiny desk that's shrunk down, and then I use a shelf to create a skinny desk. So that's what I've done there. As I mentioned, you can check this out on my channel in terms of a more in-depth tutorial on a recent video, just if that's something you want to explore in a little bit more detail, because you don't really see too much of it in that quick, brief interlude there. But now I'm just onto the outside areas. I've got 2 sort of rooftop terraces. The center part of this rooftop is sort of like the atrium that looks down into where you have your lunch on the lower floor near the barbecue area. So up here is just really nice and beautiful and zen. I've also got these 2 additional rooms. So what I do is put into a little gym, and I also have decided to put a 2nd bedroom up here as well. So I've got a kid's bedroom on one side, as well as the gym on this side, as well as 2 matching bathrooms at the end. So it probably is overkill having 3 bathrooms in this house, but you know, whatever. My biggest pet peeve with The Sims, well, not my biggest, but one of them, is when all of your Sims need to use the bathroom for whatever reason at the same time and you haven't got enough of them, and then someone's trying to come in, and it's just, anyway, it's a hassle. So I always tend to put more bathrooms than I need. But I really love this outdoor area here. It's got a perfect little sitting area for sitting around that little coffee table that looks like a fire pit, even though it's not a fire pit. You can grow some veggies out there. You can lie down and relax on one of the lounges. So I think it's just a really beautiful, nice zen house in general, which very much so matches with the Japanese vibe. And you can see me building out another one of these dark bathrooms here. This bathroom matches the other bathroom exactly. It's just a mirrored version of itself on the other side. So I only show you one of them, otherwise it's just you're repeating watching the same thing twice. And here you can see me doing final room, which is the kids' bedroom. And I have to say, now in hindsight, watching it back, I'm not really too happy with how this turns out, in that I should have tried to keep it a bit more within the Japanese style, if that's possible. But I end up making it a kids' extravaganza bedroom as per usual, because I just love filling these rooms with all sorts of kids' junk and making it really bright and playful, because in reality, in real life, if you've got a kids' room, it doesn't match the rest of the house. It is always a bit sort of crazy and wild in there. So I suppose it's sort of more realistic, but it is a little bit garish, I suppose, with all the pink when the rest of the house is so modern and sleek. But anyway, we're coming to the end here with some screenshots and some sort of fly-throughs, so I hope you enjoy them. And if there is anything you'd like to see in the next few videos that come out, please do let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys. It's good to be back, and I'll see you in the next video. Catch you later. Bye.